What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode. It's your boy, Jabril. Before we get started, if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that sub button, the notification button next to it. Comment down below for me. Tell me what you guys think of this video. Let's do this. So, today we are making smoked jalapeno poppers. Trying to stay in the festive spirit of football season and sports and party time and March Madness and all that. So we are going to do smoked jalapeno poppers. So first thing you need, obviously, is jalapenos. Now I have here about 10. They're really small. At least these ones are. These ones they're not bad, but they're not horribly massive. So I got 10. I may not need all 10. You probably want at least 8 for this recipe. And then in it, I'm going to put some garlic powder, some W sauce, 1 block of cream cheese, and then some cheddar cheese. And then once I make my mixture and once I stuff my peppers, then for the fun part, I'm going to wrap each one in about half a piece of bacon, because it's not very big, so I might even go thirds, to be quite honest, but I'm wrapping the whole thing in bacon. And then I'm going to put on top this prime rib seasoning that I've been using, because it's got a little bit of a sweetness, so it'll candy that bacon real nice. And so, yeah, let's get started. So the first thing I want to do is I want to put on a pair of gloves, because the last thing you want to do is start cutting into jalapeno peppers, especially spicy peppers for that matter, and then, you know, well, touch things you're not supposed to. You know, like your face, right? Exactly, yeah. You don't want to touch your face after you've been messing with jalapenos with your bare hands. Things get a little hot under the collar, if you know what I mean. So, put on some gloves, and then we'll start coring out our jalapeno poppers. So, in a bowl, and I got my gloves on, in a bowl, you want to put your softened cream cheese. Again, I've mentioned it before. You want to kind of leave it out for just a little bit so that it's pliable and easier to mix with. Now, I have gloves on. Obviously, if you don't have gloves, you can use a spoon, and I might use a spoon still, just to get a good, nice start. But softened cream cheese is very important. Okay, then I'm going to add my 2 cups of cheddar cheese. Okay, then I'm going to add about a tablespoon of W sauce. Okay, and then about a tablespoon of garlic powder. Okay, and then like I said, you can use a spoon, or if you have gloves on, I'm just going to use 1 glove so that my other hand I can leave dry for my jalapeno poppers. Okay, so I got my cheese ball made. Okay, now I'm going to set this guy off to the side, and then we're going to start coring our jalapenos. Okay, so I'm going to start with 8. I might go ahead and do all 10, but I'm going to start with 8 because that should be enough. But I have a fancy tool that I'm going to try. And I don't know if you can see it, but friend's mom gave me this pepper corer. See if it works out. I have no idea how it's going to work, but we're going to try. But it looks like you cut the tops off, and then with looks like this serrated part here, and then you use this little thingy, little scooper to scoop out the seeds. So we're going to give it a shot. Okay, might have to stick to a knife for cutting the tops off, but that's okay. Live and learn. But now, okay, not the best, not the worst for small peppers. It kind of pushes it out a little bit, but it's okay. It's going to get wrapped with bacon. There's still a little bit of seeds in there, but it works. But I'm going to keep trying, though. So let's try it this way. Let's cut the tops off with a knife. I think we're doing it with this one. I think I just needed to learn the technique. Huh, I did it. Ha ha! First one was a test run. We'll just say that one was a test run, but yeah. See, look at that. And then it just, all that, just, yeah. Wow. Okay, all right, I see you. Oh, fancy that. All right. So yeah, do that with the rest of these. Otherwise, if you don't have one of these, you cut them in half, and then you scrape out the seeds that way with like a spoon, and then And then when you wrap them in bacon, you'll put the two halves together and all that jazz. But I'm going to keep using this guy. All right, so I got my jalapenos. I actually have the other two cored and ready to go just in case. And I got rid of the boo-boo one so that we can just pretend like that didn't happen. But I got 8 here, and I'm going to start stuffing these. So you want them to be kind of level. You don't want to fill them up too much, but because it will start oozing out otherwise. But maybe a little under, but this is solid. I think there's a little bit of room still left in here, but that's what you want. So we're gonna do that to the rest of these guys. And what I'm doing is I'm kind of making the jalapeno shape itself. That way it's easier to stuff. Kind of making a cylinder with one hand, and then that way it just kind of goes on in there. So I was able to do all 10. It looks like I got enough to do probably about 4 more, which is excellent. But like I said, these are a little smaller. So if you get bigger size jalapenos, then 8 or 10 should be more than enough. If they're these small sized ones, then probably about 4 more should do, so about 14. 10 to 14, depending on, like I said, how big they are, how much room you got. But we got these. I'm going to put some new gloves on, clean up, and we're going to wrap these in bacon. All right, so I got a clean cutting board. And like I said, I'm going to probably be able to cut these in half and wrap them up comfortably. And then if you have toothpicks, use toothpicks. Otherwise, I'm just going to lay them seam side down. It may not hold I hope it holds well, but it should be all right. Okay, so since I have 10, I'm going to do 4 or 5 pieces of bacon, since I'm cutting them in half, and then each half will go towards such. Okay, I got my halves, and I got my poppers. Let's wrap them up. All right, so they are wrapped. We are going to add my seasoning on top, and then we are going to throw them in this smoker. And I got my smoker set to 225. We're going to aim for 2 hours, but we might have to go for 2.5, possibly 3. It will be just whenever the bacon gets done. So I'll see you in a few hours. All right, so ended up smoking these for an hour and a half, and then I stuck them in the broiler for about 5 minutes or so, just to crisp up the bacon just a little bit. It didn't need much, just a little bit, just enough to. There was a couple like fatty spots that were missed, so I threw them under the broiler. They look amazing. They smell amazing. I'm very excited. Let's try one out. So I'm gonna try the, I don't know. I'm gonna try this one. This one's that's covered a little bit more in bacon. But here we go. Look, the cheese still stayed intact, which is nice. I was afraid it was gonna just ooze everywhere. This just means I overfilled them just a hair, so I probably should have underfilled them just a little bit more, but that's okay. That's okay, it's a learning process. But the fact it still stayed intact, which is fine by me, but here we go. Cheers. Wow, that's really good. That's quite yummy. So the jalapeno is cooked down a little bit, so it's not so hot. Plus, what makes peppers and stuff like this hot are the seeds. So you're taking out the seeds, so it's not aggressively hot. It's also covered in bacon, so that helps a lot too. It's got cheese out the wazoo, so that helps a lot too. The seasoning kind of candied the bacon just a little bit, and I love it. But the bacon's cooked all the way through. The pepper is cooked all the way through. It's got a little bit of a crunch to it, but it's not like pull the whole thing out kind of crunch. But this is really tasty. And you got the sweetness from the seasoning. This is really tasty. I like this. If they were just a little bit smaller, I could totally understand why they were called poppers, because you could probably pop this whole thing in your mouth and be totally content. But they're a little bit bigger than they need to be, so don't do that. Unless you're a brave soul, then just go for it. Honestly, I think my favorite part is the candied bacon part. I'm not gonna lie, that's pretty delicious. But the cheese filling is delicious too. I like the sharp cheddar taste. Really helps with the jalapeno. But it's got some heat. Obviously there towards the end I got a little bit of heat, but it's not aggressive. And that's the thing what I like about certain spicy foods, is I would rather it just be tasty, like, it's still warm, it's still hot, but you're not like, man, I really don't know if I want to eat that again. That was too much. But you're able to enjoy it, and you're able to enjoy multiple of them. Now, I'm not saying eat the whole tray, because then you will feel it. But, you don't feel as guilty, or you don't feel like you're hurting yourself by eating more than one. And so it's enjoyable, and that's what I like about certain spicy foods. I would rather it taste good and be spicy than just be spicy. Because nothing tastes good when it's just spicy. It's not fun, it's not enjoyable. You're spending more time trying to drink water or beer or water or milk or whatever, and you're not enjoying the food. And it takes away from the experience of the food. So I like this a lot. This is honestly the first time I've ever made this before. So you're witnessing greatness right now. I'm just kidding. But no, in all seriousness, I really like these. These are really good. But there you have it, guys. Smoked jalapeno poppers. If you like this video, share with your friends and family. Also, like I said before, if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that sub button and notification button. That way you can see more delicious content that I post. And as always, guys, peace out, and I'll see you guys in the next one.